Welcome to Books in the Freezer, a podcast dedicated to the deliciously disturbing world of horror fiction. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today I am joined by author Grace Reynolds to talk about her honky tonk slasher novel, Neon Moon, and horror set in Texas. So, Grace, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, this has been a long time coming, I feel
I
like.
I think so too. It's like
I
just
feel like we've been
it,
circling around each other.
I was just gonna say that in each other's orbits.
I had so much fun with Neon Moon. And I feel like, and you've posted about this, that I feel like female authored slashers are kind of having a moment right now.
Oh, I believe that, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it because it's my first long fiction form publication, so I was a little nervous coming from short form with poetry and stories, and like just gonna keep moving up in word count, everybody. Um, but yeah, I think that slashers written by women are having a moment. There are so many slashers coming out this year alone
Yeah.
written by women, and I was like, this is in response to something. There's something here.
Something in the water.
There's something in the water.
But would you mind telling our listeners a little bit about Neon Moon?
Sure. So Neon Moon is a honky tonk slasher that takes place in the Texas Hill Country, where our main character, Darlene Boone, is the bartender at the local legend, the Tea Garden Saloon. It's where every country music star in the business has to come through and make their name known before they reach the big city of, I don't know, Nashville, New York City, and whatnot. But it's a local legend. It's a dive bar that everybody goes to in the middle of nowhere. It's one of the busiest nights of the year. Darlene's a survivor of abuse and she's just trying to move forward with her life. But a local murder happens in town and everybody's squawking about it. And one of the things about Texas horror, small town horror, is that you kind of mind your own until it's in your backyard. And then what happens? Hell comes on your doorstep. And that's the setup for Neon Moon itself. And it becomes a whole night of sequin, rage, debauchery, and gore.
That it is. Yeah, there was a lot I liked about it. I do like that it is set over the course of one night, essentially one shift,
Hmm.
the shift from hell. It's a
And
workplace horror.
And we've all had that. If you've ever worked in the service industry, we've all had one of those. I used to work at a pub when I was in college, so I tried to bring some of those experiences in as well.
Oh my gosh, drunken bachelorette parties.
We've all seen it. We may have been part of one. It's okay. Forgive yourself.
I also liked the relationship with the bartenders. It had this very found family
Yeah,
feel that I liked.
yeah, and I wanted that. It's I don't tell my dad this. Wanda is actually named after my own great grandmother, and so
Oh,
she was pure spitfire. This woman, and I wanted that kind of like mentor mentee like relationship to be there. The passing of the torch, if you will, because they're kind of similar in a lot of ways. Wanda and Darlene, it's just different generations and
yeah.
what they've had to go through, what they've experienced as characters, and I like also that Wanda is an older woman who is kind of like re-embracing this part of herself later in
Yeah.
life, that she's allowing herself to like maybe experience like romance again. And I want more older women written into fiction that can be hot
Yeah.
and sassy and doesn't have to be a hag, everybody. She can have salt and pepper hair and lipstick too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I also like on her date that originally she had kind of written this guy off until she
Hmm.
like found out about something and realized they, shared some context and kind of like were very blunt about like, hey, I wasn't feeling this, but like, you want to start over? Let's do this again. I'm like, oh, that's
Hmm.
refreshing.
Yeah, and I think we see that too in romances that like that take place with older characters as well too, because you have to come to the table and just be honest with where you're starting from, right? Like whereas I think we see with younger relationships, especially in fiction, like there's like that vulnerability that is, I guess I not just in fiction but in real life too. It's scary to be vulnerable and to put yourself out there, and especially if you survived something, to bring your walls back down to let anybody in, whether it's romantically or as a friend. That's a very, very challenging thing to do. And I guess what I liked about writing Darlene and this dynamic of characters of like honestly all her best friends are like in their 60s at this point, everybody like um but that they can all bring this life experience to the table and I guess ferry her through, so to speak, this transition of her life of okay, like well you survived this and now you're going to go live and we're going to see your way through to get there.
We are talking about Texas horror today. And
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but you are not a Texas native, right?
No, I am not. I was raised in the great state of New Jersey, everybody, which
Woo!
is kind of like Texas's cousin.
Explain.
Okay, so I thought a lot about this. So I grew up in a very, very small town in New Jersey along a train line called the River Line, the Delaware. So crumbling industry, everybody, South Jersey. And, and in New Jersey, it's everybody's loud and you like food and there's things like family is everything. Like the blood is thicker than water. Um, but even still, you have chosen family in this relationship, like families with families that you've grown up with, and they're generationally speaking that go back when they possibly immigrated to this country. I love genealogy, by the way. This is where I'm going to tell you about that spiel, and just how, especially so many people came to America like and settled in New Jersey. So you had like villages who came over together and were raised with one another through the last century. So yeah, that blood is thicker than water. It doesn't just extend to like blood family members, but extends to your community as well. And I remember thinking when we first moved to Texas, we moved there for my partner's job, that holy crap, they're going to think that I'm this crazy like Yankee out here and can a Jersey girl like me survive in a big old place like Texas? Like what I didn't know what to expect like at all. And I think my first real Texas moment was seeing a Bucky's on a roadside stop because the one outside San Antonio has like 60 truck stops. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's so massive. I took a picture and sent it to a friend of mine in Germany. I was like, "Look, America." And I was like, "We have very large gas stations here, apparently." Um, but then I kind of came to know like Texas culture, San Antonio culture specifically. It's very family oriented. It's loud. Everyone likes good food. You protect your own. And I was like, wow, this is not so different from New Jersey. I know it's crazy. Also, too, just fun fact: there's a lot of Eagles fans in San Antonio,
Interesting.
which I thought was kind of weird. I was like,
Yeah.
what is this? I thought y'all would be Dallas like Cowboy fans. As someone from South Jersey, I'm an Eagles fan. Go Birds. Uh, and I don't know. I felt that camaraderie between the states. And I was like, huh, I could see Texas and New Jersey forming, I guess, an unexpected partnership just based off of like culture alone.
I love this because, yeah, I was going to ask you, like, in your time there, like, what did you fall in love with to set a whole novel here, kind of, entrenched in the culture and to, like, want to talk about it?
I think the people probably first. I only lived in Texas for 4 years, and I was so fortunate to be surrounded by amazing. Just my neighbors were wonderful people, but also amazing people in the Texas horror community.
Mhm.
And we all kind of coined a term like the Texas horror crew, which is like
Yeah.
vague and broad, and I'm going to just say includes everybody and anybody in Texas that is a reader or a writer or a podcaster in Texas. And I've made some wonderful connections uh, through that community, and I miss them all dearly, and they know that. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of them this year at StokerCon. But definitely the people. I loved the landscape out there. I've always loved Western landscape, especially growing up in like a tin can, like sardine state like New Jersey. I'll never forget. Like we previously had lived in Arizona for a short period of time, and it was one of those moments that I was like, "Wow, like everything's so big out here." But Texas is so cool because the topography it changes as you move through the state. Like you've got the pines up north, you've got like the plains that go into central, and then the hill country itself, which is beautiful and mysterious, and it can be creepy at times. Like there's these trees called live oaks, and they're just everywhere in Central Texas. Um, you can't go through a town without seeing like a patch of them, and sometimes they're historic and they're protected, and like could be like 200-year-old trees. But there's also this element of mystery in the hill country, and it sounds just like what it is. It's a bunch of hills that are just, it's a landscape full of live oak, but it's so rural. And you've got small communities out there like Bandera, for example, like cowboy capital of Texas, where you're traveling in between these little towns. And if something happened, I hope you have cell phone reception out there, because no one's going to find you for a couple days on the side of a road if no one's driving down it. But I love the landscape. In particular, I love the Texas wildflower season. Oh my goodness. I loved it so much that I got a tattoo of
Really?
of Texas wildflowers. A good friend of mine, we went to a tattoo artist in Austin together, and we got matching, not matching, but like friend tattoos, I would say. So like, listeners can't view it, but like, yeah,
Oh.
like, I have blue bonnets on my arm and whatnot, and I have fire wheel flowers, and um, I lived there, and I think I just loved the spirit of resiliency that
Mm-hmm.
endures in Texas. And that was at a time of my life that I really needed that. And so I very much, I hold our time there with fondness, because I it was a moment of transformation for me as well. And and just that, even that symbol of the wildflowers, like they grow where they're not supposed to, and they are resilient. And so, yeah, I just had a great time there. I don't know if we'll live there again, but I think some things would have to change probably in Texas, like politically. And I would love it to not be as hot. My gosh, it is sweltering in the summertime out there. When we moved there, it was 4th of July 2020, which was also scary to move during the middle of COVID. And it was 113 degrees outside. And I thought, oh, well, you know what? Maybe it's a dry heat. And it wasn't. It was huge. It was humid. And it was like moving into a house in soup.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I know I ramble on about these things, but I think it's kind of nice to move somewhere and you get to see the magic that maybe folks who have lived somewhere their whole life don't see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think especially with a place like Texas that you said that I feel like is known more for their political shenanigans, the memeability of
The
Ted Cruz
memeability.
running away during a storm and leaving his dog, and I'm sure living there and seeing the people and the work being done gave you, a whole new perspective on that as well.
Absolutely. And I would say, like, from that perspective, like, Texas is more purple than people realize it
Mhm.
is. Like, the last presidential election, I'm talking every other house, there was a different yard sign
Wow.
for somebody. But I also learned that, like, you can wear cowboy boots out there and you can fight for civil liberties too. And I love it because they take that Texas attitude and they're like, y'all means all. So
I was gonna say something I've noticed reading horror from people that are part of the Texas horror crew is I feel like they love to sprinkle in like a fun fact or like a reference a landmark of some kind. So I was gonna say,
Mhm.
is the Tea Garden Saloon based off of like a famous
It
honky
is.
tonk? Okay.
It is. It says. I feel like for legal reasons, we're like, no, it's
Okay.
totally not. But uh, there is a similar establishment that happens to be in the Hill Country, and it's called Lukenbach, Texas.
Mm.
And it used to be an old trading post that is outside of a German town called Fredericksburg, and it's like a shanty shack. It's an old trading post that mail carriers used to come through, and then I guess over the course of history, it just turned into like this outdoor concert venue. Um, and so I've been to a few shows out there with my friends who are bigger country fans than I, but I'm always about, like, I love live music, a good Texas night, a nice beer, sure, like, let's go do it.
Yeah.
It's fun. And so yeah, that's that. And I was gonna say, I think some of like the Tea Gardens vibes also come from like experiences lurking in a pub, but also some of those cool honky tonks that you see on the Nashville Strip in particular as well. I wanted to kind of bring that to the setting.
It was definitely felt very lived in. Like I was reading it, I'm like, oh, like I know exactly what kind of establishment this is. I love this. Feels very lived in.
Yeah,
These
and
walls could talk.
I wanted people to feel that. I was like almost like a little bit like Coyote Ugly, in the sense like this is the place where, somebody's gonna get on top of the bar and they're gonna dance and sing, and someone's gonna yell at them to get down because they're a liability.
We're not lighting the bar on fire and
We're
doing
not
a line
lighting it.
dance.
Not tonight. Or maybe.
Well, Should we talk about some Texas horror movies?
Hell yeah, we should. Absolutely. But what do you want to kick it off with?
I am probably the one everyone's thinking of. It's got
Oh,
Texas in the name.
I know.
It's a classic.
She is the moment. She is the dancing queen. She is Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Who will survive and what will be left of them?
Like, she's just a girl, everybody.
It's just a cannibalistic
Just a
girl.
cannibalistic girl just searching for her whimsy out in the so I was gonna say I think it's Texas Hill Country that it takes place in. I want to say, or someone is gonna come in the comments like that's not where it takes place, or at least somewhere like maybe closer towards like southern Texas where like X and Pearl take place is what it seems like. But oh my gosh, how could we not talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Like
Yeah.
what what do you like about the movie or the franchise?
Um, I mean, I love the setting. I also, unpopular opinion, have a soft spot for Franklin as someone who is
Oh,
also like whiny and annoying. Um
yes. Justice for Franklin. Justice for Franklin.
Justice for Franklin as someone who, like, guess what? In this situation, I would be bitching and moaning too. Okay.
I was like, everybody was such a jerk to him the
He's
entire
in
movie.
okay.
Like, poor thing. Like he gets pushed over on the side of the road at the beginning of the movie. God love him. And like everyone's like, "Oh gosh, there goes Franklin tumbling on the hill." And I do think that it speaks to how disability is treated in horror, or how it used to be treated in horror. I'm glad to see that horror is moving away from disparaging people who have mobility needs and other disabilities. But yeah, Justice for Franklin, because I feel like Justice Franklin was the only one that was like, "Hey, something's happening here and we gotta go."
Yeah. So there's some crazy entries in that franchise tonally. I went
Mhm.
into Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 thinking it would be a tonal continuation of 1,
Yes.
and it's a lot more wacky
Yes. And
than I thought it would be, which I didn't mind, but I was like, those are directed by Toby Hooper.
yeah, I
It's
see.
interesting choices being made.
See, I'm in the camp of probably I'm in the minority where I do not enjoy Texas Chainsaw 2, because I wanted that
You wanted the
continuation. I
grittiness.
wanted the
Yeah.
grit. I like the grittiness of the franchise. Because I think that I like that slashers just are that just show brutality. And like it's supposed to scare you. Murder is scary. Having someone come at you with a chainsaw is a terrifying experience. And like of course, like there are those terrifying moments, but it was just kind of interesting to see Leatherface go through like that teenage transition of like sexual urges and whatnot. I was like, ugh, this is like okay, I don't know.
Oh man, what was the Texas Chainsaw one with Matthew McConaughey? That's also another like wacky one.
Was okay. Oh, I'm trying to think of
And
what
he like will not acknowledge that as far as I know.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, because where does 3 and 4 take place? I feel like they lose like time and memories. Because there's the one where like it's like the gas station stop, and there's like that war vet in the woods, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll save you," and like thank God he makes it out alive. It's like I don't know if it's a spoiler for everybody, but trying to think.
It
Was
was the
it
next generation. I don't
Was it
know.
like the 2003 film with Jessica Biel? I forget. No, I don't think it was in
No,
that
it was a
one.
1995 just sequel, Texas Chainsaw: The Next
I don't
Generation.
remember.
It's a wacky one. I do like the remake with Jessica Biel. I
I
feel
do
like
too.
we got back to the grittiness. Everyone talks about the shot in the beginning where we're through the car and the camera pans out and you go like through the guy's bullet hole.
Hmm. That is the movie that brought me into the franchise because
Interesting. Yeah.
I remember seeing it in high school, and I was like, "This is terrifying. I love it.
Which
Show
is.
me
Yeah.
more." Because I was one of those kids where like I would watch horror when my parents were still working. Like I'd come home from school, screw homework. I'm gonna go find the horror movies and try to watch as many as I can before my parents get home. And I think that was one of them that I like. Remember, like Comcast or used to have like a streaming thing like back in the day. I think that's what it was on. But I like that one. I know a lot of people hate the 2022 film where they bring back the original Final Girl. I kind of liked it. I liked it a lot.
I thought it was interesting. I thought it had like interesting things to say. It was
Mm-hmm.
exploring gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little annoyed at the portrayal of like young people and youth culture as I
Yeah, it was a
usually
little
am.
like boomer-esque in that respect. Like, you're canceled,
Try
man. Like,
something and you'll get canceled,
you'll
bro.
get
This is on
canceled.
live.
This is on live. Yeah, yeah. That part was a little
Um,
cringy and like a little campy in that respect. But I like that invitation for the next generation, and I've thought about that a lot in the franchise because holy guacamole, there's a lot going on in that movie, like you said, and the commentary on what they're trying to explore. And I think it's interesting that they're using Leatherface to explore that.
yeah, and I thought it also went to like this idea that these outsiders have an idea of like what all Texas is and what Texans are,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of learn that things are more complicated and maybe they have more in common than they
Yes,
can
a-
imagine at first, you know.
absolutely.
And sisters coming together, you know, always love that.
Sisters coming together, and then sorry, we won't do any
Oh.
spoilers. We love when sisters finally overcome their differences for the greater good.
Yeah. And then I had on here the town that dreaded sundown, which takes place in a town called Texarkana. So it's like the border between Texas and Arkansas. I
Yes,
think if people want to get technical, probably the majority of the movie takes place on the Arkansas side. But you know what? I'm counting it. Okay.
I
It's
I
Texarkana.
I'm so interested because I haven't seen that, and I want to because my husband's from Arkansas, and we used to travel through Texarkana quite a bit. And
Really?
yes, so I used to work for a union that had employees that worked in Texarkana. So it's like one of those places I've always passed through but never spent time in. So I'm curious about a horror movie that was set there.
Yeah, it was I think it came out in 1976, I believe, based on a true story, though, you know, so was Texas Chainsaw. Like I don't know to what extent
Hmm.
it was based on a true story. But so it's a period piece set in 1946,
Oh,
which was
okay.
when the murders were happening, which was I think like a few teen couples going to like a lover's lane secluded area getting
Hmm.
murdered, and then some murders happening in the town. And I don't know if they ever caught the guy because it's been a few years since I watched it. Um, but it is really creepy. And the villain has this like bag on his face. And when he
Mm.
breathes, like it goes out and like sucks back in. And he has like the eye holes where you can like very clearly see his like big blue eyes like looking around.
Oh, that sounds
It's
humid.
Yeah, it's well, it's just, like, creepy, but yeah,
It is
I
creepy.
guess, yeah, I'm not
Humid.
thinking about myself being in his shoes, but yes, you it would be.
I am. No, just kidding.
I always think of what the killer is feeling,
Yeah,
actually.
that it's you know this book taught me it's hard to write a killer and like really think about their motives as well. And
Yeah,
yeah, just a little bit. Shoot, I like I was just thinking I was thinking about because there's I don't want to give spoilers, but like in Neon Moon, there's like kind of one of those moments too. And I was like, gosh, that sounds humid. Like maybe that's Ugh, sounds sweaty and humid and bloody.
yeah, I guess it would be, and you have to be so strong. There was a 2011 The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which isn't a remake, it's like a
Mhm.
sequel because it acknowledges the previous murders, and it's like he's back and targeting, so it's, like, technically a sequel, which I thought was interesting.
I think it's interesting because I feel like there are quite a few stories that take place in Texas that have that like that true crime feel to them.
Yeah,
It's like what is it about Texas that makes it such a good setting for that kind of story?
yeah.
Like I just besides the landscape itself, I think like just like good luck. Like I'm telling you, everybody, like cell phone reception in some of these parts of Texas, you're not going to have it. Good luck. I hope you have a paper map in your car, like our parents did. Like, I will say I can vouch for at least driving through Texas many times that as soon as you get away from the city, like good luck at getting cell phone reception in a lot of those places.
Yeah. Recently too, we had that X trilogy, and I think X and Pearl
Hmm.
were both set
Hmm.
in that same
They
Texas
were.
farmhouse.
I haven't seen the third installment,
Me
but
neither, but I think that's, like, New York.
yeah, or yeah, somewhere where the like somewhere where the rich and famous go, because it's Maxine, right? Like she's on her
Hmm.
journey to fame. I love X and Pearl. I'm probably in this minority. I love X more than Pearl, and
Oh, okay.
I know that it's the opposite for a lot of people. That people love
Yeah.
Pearl more than X, but I think I loved the 70s. Was it the 70s or the 60s that X takes?
70s.
I love those vibes because it feels like a remix of the original Texas Chainsaw in that respect.
Yeah.
And like I like that it's that group of young people going out and they're the outsiders and they're going to like a family home, kind of like Texas Chainsaw a little bit. And I just love what the just the debauchery that ensues. And there's that element that I think is explored more in Pearl about like the autonomy of women and sexuality and even religion as well, which isn't something I look at a whole lot in at least in Neon Moon, but like with the Texas horror, you do have that element of religion and what happens in a small town when there's like where like pious nature comes to play. Yeah, I think I liked seeing X a lot. I thought it was great, and who doesn't love Mia Goth like dual playing roles as like as herself as other characters? Like so great.
Yeah, I think I liked Pearl more. I
Hmm.
liked the period piece
Hmm.
aspect. I mean, just her performance, the iconic red dress audition scene
Hmm.
that turns into this whole like Technicolor thing. I love kind of the cuts to like she keeps casting herself in this like Technicolor world. And I love a delusional girl. I love a girl who's a
I
little delulu.
Yeah, she's a star. That one's kind of cool because it kind of brings a little bit of Texas history into that too. And I don't know if that's ever like if it's ever because she comes from a family who it seems like they recently immigrated to the United States, and I don't know if it's German history,
I want to say German. That's what I'm
which but
thinking.
that fits it very much in line with Texas history as well, because I learned well, at least living in Texas and writing this book, that like German communities, they came to the United States and went to places like Texas through Galveston, and they settled up through Texas and became like farmers and like peach farmers and whatnot. And so I thought that was kind of cool that they brought that history into play that I don't think a lot of people know about Texas.
I also had Death Proof on here. Have you seen that? Because I've only
No,
seen it once.
as I was going to ask you about that. Tell me about Death Proof.
I mean, simply speaking, it's about a guy who likes to kill women with his car.
Hmm.
Um, and I would say like that's a good chunk of it. And then there's kind of a more fun like revenge angle that
Ooh,
comes
okay.
into play as like girls kind of bond together and fight back to take him down. But it
Good
is
for
like
her.
through these like dusty Texas roads is like a big part of it. And there's, there's a honky tonk scene.
That's awesome. I will definitely check that out. I also love the idea, or like, I don't love people getting murdered. I want to put that out there, but like, just having it take place on a highway, I think is very interesting too. Because, like, I think a lot of Texas, especially if you're traveling outside of like Central and you're going to go like west towards El Paso, like it's a whole lot of like I just highway and nothing out there. And like you have those warning signs for like last gas station for 150 miles, like good luck, stop here or don't. Like that's on you. It kind of feels a little bit like sepia toned, like horror, like like the first time I saw Midland, Texas from a highway, I thought it was a mirage of Philadelphia. I was like, what is this? Where are we? Because it's like that.
I'm
Like
having a vision.
I'm having a vision because it was back in 2014. We were moving to Arizona at that time, and I had never driven through Texas. My husband wanted to be like, I'm going to drive through Texas in a day. I was like, cool, you do that. I will be in the passenger seat. And we're in West Texas. We don't see anything, and then all of a sudden, boom, city. And I was like, what? There's nothing leading up to it, just a city.
Just appears.
Just appear. That's why I was like, is that full of like I felt crazy. Let me tell you, but but the heat will kind of like play tricks on you out there, and like if that's kind of what I do like about maybe like this subgenre, if you will. It's just like that. I think that the elements also have something to do uh, with the horror itself as well, and just
Yeah.
that like that pressure. Like it's hot, it's sweaty. You're going to get murdered. Like figure it out. You're under a pressure cooker out here.
Yeah. It's interesting, like, looking at these too, that a lot of these seem to be about, like, outsiders coming into, like, Texas spaces. I would say other than maybe the town that dreaded sundown, where it seems like it's an insider
Hmm.
who's in here, and like you got to be wary of like your neighbors and community. Uh,
Yeah.
but speaking of outsiders, the House of a Thousand Corpses is on here.
Yeah, I know we were talking a little about Rob Zombie before the show
Yeah,
started. I love this movie, and it's so gritty and awful. And I don't know what it is about House of like a Thousand Corpses. I think because it just brings back that grit of Texas horror that people like so much. And I think like you could kind of touch on like the outsider element, like one thing that I've been thinking a lot about, like the difference between like Texas horror and like Western horror. Like they're cut from the same cloth, of course. Like the landscape is very similar in nature, but like with Western horror, you've got like the frontier's pushing back, and like the danger is like what could be out there, and like who are you when like civilization is gone, like your like morals like it disappears. Like who are you when the rules of society go? Well, you see with like Texas horror and like regional horror in general, like you see this with Appalachian horror as well. Um, it's just kind of like the horror is like the neighbor next door, like that insider threat is there. And yeah, I think a lot about how like even like a House of a Thousand Corpses has that element to it, because it's a family down the road in this Texas small little town, and they have this like creepy carnival front that presumably most people have survived going through that and haven't been brought back to the house because it's still in operation. They've got a business license after all. But well, logistics, things that I think about that no one else thinks about here. He still has a business license. Um, but yeah, I think about how like places like that can operate and under the nose of everybody in the town, essentially.
hmm
Um, I don't know. I love that movie. I kind of see that, and that I'm going to say a little bit of like a precursor to the Terrifier trilogy, just a little bit in terms of like behavior of the killers themselves. Just because like this family has like absolutely no morals whatsoever, or like the morals is like loyalty to each other and that's it, and like everybody else goes out the window here. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I love that movie. I love the soundtrack for that movie in particular as well. I also like just I don't know. And I think about how I forget what is his wife's name? What is her character's name?
share. Oh, I
I
don't
think
know.
it's Baby in the I think it might be Baby in
Yeah,
the films. But I think about how like they also bring like this element of like I don't know, like she's cute, she lures people in, she's fun, and then she's crazy, and it's just like I don't know, she is the opposite of what like this like southern portrayal of women is supposed to be.
it's not like, well, she brings them in with Southern hospitality,
With southern hospitality,
offering to help them with their car troubles.
don't mind the pile of bones on the floor, everybody. It's just another Sunday. Like,
I also, yeah, I do like this movie visually as this kind of like neon maximalist horror
yes.
that's kind of like throwing everything out the wall and like marrying that with like what we were talking earlier, his hellbilly,
The hellbilly
yeah,
aesthetic.
yeah, his hellbilly like vibe and aesthetic that is like vulgar and like rural.
Yeah, and initially I feel like I saw the movie like years ago, and I was initially kind of like I think I was turned off from the idea of like just the gore aspect of it, and which is funny because I like writing gore now as a like down the road here. Oops. Um, but yeah, it almost feels kind of like you're going to like a flea market, like a haunted flea market, and you're gonna get murdered, and like because like there's all this like crap around, and it's claustrophobic in that sense. It's like a family of hoarders of bones and nonsense. Like good luck getting out of that situation. But like I think it also kind of maybe intentionally or unintentionally speaks to this part of America that is just like the crumbling industry, poverty stricken areas, and like you're driving through the backwoods, and like these are like random things that you see of just like a rusted tractor somewhere, or like a sign from like a Coca-Cola sign, or like it's like it's what is that that show, is it Pickers, or they go to
American Pickers.
American Pickers, it's like American Pickers but like a horror movie like now
I'd watch that episode of American
could
Pickers.
you imagine like where does this barn go? A secret tunnel, like full of skeletons and bones.
When we come back, you will not believe where this goes. Yeah, I was telling you earlier, I really have not continued on with the like Firefly trilogy.
Mhm. It's like I only watched the Devil's Rejects after that, which it continues just that this like they're on the run, the five fingers on the run, but it takes a different twist. It's more nihilist in nature, which is also kind of Western in a way because it's very much accepting things as they are, and it's like just that all sense of hope is out the window. But yeah, I really liked that movie as well. I'm trying to think if there's other Texas horror movies. I'm trying to think besides other ones in the Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw Massacre.
listeners, you are feel free to comment any that we may have missed, which we probably
We
did.
probably have. Shoot.
We're ready to get into some books.
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
do you want me to kick it off?
You can, yeah.
Okay, I think we got to start with the Hill Country classic, and that's The White House by Johnny Compton. It has to be. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has the oak trees on the cover. Have you read it?
Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking of Johnny Compton when I was talking about like the fun facts or like that is a
Oh,
landmark.
what was the fun facts that you learned from that book?
Well, I think just like the existence of spite houses, and he always has like a
hmm
little bit of like Texas history. And when I talked to him about
Is it Devils Kill Devils?
yeah, when I talked to him
Mhm.
about that, he was like, actually, like that cemetery is a real place.
There's so much lore in the Texas
Yeah.
Hill Country, and like what I think it's kind of cool because it is that outsiders situation where like you have a father and two daughters who are running away from something in Maryland, which is fun because as somebody who lives in Maryland now, I feel like I've been on that whole journey with them as a family, and but the father he takes up these odd end jobs and he answers a ad in like a newspaper about like taking up residence in a haunted house to help find out what's going on with the house and the mysteries within. I think it's such a it's a great contemporary Southern Gothic.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you put it rating wise?
So I want to know about your fridge rating system because it's been a
Uh
while.
yeah. Room temperature is like you would feel okay kind of handing this to a newbie beginner.
Okay.
Fridge is
Okay.
like, some scares, and then
Mm-hmm.
freezer is like, reader beware. You're in for a
Okay.
scare.
Okay, I'm gonna say freezer. Reader beware, you're in for a scare for
Yeah.
sure. Then absolutely. Which is some of the haunting scenes in particular. I was like people can't see my Muppet face right now, which is like no, like but just the atmosphere itself. I think it's the atmosphere of the house is what really I think.
hmm
Like, I love when an author can do that and just fully immerse you in that experience. And it's not just the people that you got to be afraid of. It's something in the house that is deadly and it's going to get you. I don't know. I that book just scared me. So, what about you?
My first pick is In the Valley of the Sun by Andy Davidson. Have you read this
I
one?
have not.
I really like this one. This was up, I think, in 2017 for first novel for Stoker Award. It's very lyrical and very like Cormac McCarthy esque, but it is about a man named Travis who, at the beginning of the novel, gets, he's with a woman and he ends up getting turned into a vampire. It
As one
happens,
does. As
as one
one
does.
does.
You have a bad night at a bar, you wake up and you're like, what's going on with me? You kind of find out he's on the run and he goes to um, West Texas to pick up work
Mhm,
working for a motel. And it's this woman, a single mom who owns a motel, and
mhm.
she has a son. And so it's about him kind of just like doing work around for her. You are also following a Texas Ranger who has come across these various crime scenes. And you get the idea that they are headed towards each other.
Oh my. Okay, that I sounds kind of cool. That I think that leads me into another pick, which is also vampire related, because Texas is
Aw.
such a great place for vampires. This is a lesser known indie book. It is called Rising Sun Over the Devil's Nest, and it is by author named Sirius. They live in North Carolina, and it is a standalone installment in their Dread South series, which I highly recommend to everybody if you haven't picked up their books yet. But it is a reimagining of Dracula and Van Helsing. After like being in a toxic relationship over the years, and Van Helsing comes from a long line of vampire hunters, and Dracula's just been there along for the ride. But it takes place in a small town in Texas where Dracula shows up at Van Helsing's door and he's like, hey, got a problem. There's a nest of vampires over in that saloon, by the way. And everything that comes out of it, it's this exploration of like just the monstrosity of vampirism, the Texas landscape, um, this toxic romance that also takes place with like ridiculously exciting and witty banter. If read Sirius's books for the banter alone between their characters. I love the book. I can't wait to read more of the Dread South series. So that's my next pick.
Oh my god. Well, I'm excited for that. I'm sad that I already recorded an episode of Dracula retellings and didn't
Oh,
know about this. This
oh,
would have been right up there.
it's such a great little novella too. Like you'll read it in one sitting. It's so much fun, and yeah, I just can't recommend it enough. Just one of those smaller books that I want people to give a little more love to.
Yeah. Well, my second pick, also vampires,
So many
is
vampires.
yeah, weird because Texas, I think of sunny place, the sun beating down on you,
Hmm.
while the vampires. But it is Bless Your Heart by Lindy Ryan.
So I have yet to read this book, and I want to read it because I
I
love the
think you
cover
would
so
love it.
much. I love the
I,
cover. It's so
yeah,
sassy.
I mean the title is sassy. Yeah, so this is set in the late 90s
Mhm.
and you are following the four generations of Evans women who run the mortuary in Southeast Texas.
I
Like
love that.
it's a family business and it's all of the women. The youngest is a teenager in high school. I loved all of their relationship with each other. Like the great grandmother is always chewing on like those butterscotch or like sucking on those like butterscotch candies. And she's real no nonsense. And I loved her. But some weird stuff starts happening in their mortuary when like, they're turned into a body and it just reanimates. They're like, oh
Oh
no.
no, new
But
employee alert.
they kind of are like, "Oh, no, it's happening again. Like, we know what this is." And you're like,
Oh.
"Oh, there's some lore here."
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, I liked them and the relationship with like the local sheriff as he's like, "I'm getting a lot of weird bodies showing up and none
What
of this
could
is
it
making
be?
sense and these Evans women are being weird and evasive about things and something's fishy.
Don't
Something's going on
Something's
here."
happening here. What could it be? Man, I love those corny cops in like the movies and in the books where it's like something's happening. I'm gonna like just ignoring everything around him, kind of like in Twilight, where
Yeah.
like it's like there's all these monster killings happening, but or like what are they like? It's like a bobcat or something attacking people. Like what could it be?
Yeah. You definitely do feel for him,
Poor
but,
guy.
I do love it. I think that the dialogue in here was great. Like, you really feel the relationships, like, in the family with these women
Mhm.
and, all their different struggles and, like, "Ugh, now this is happening."
Just one more thing to add to the plate.
Bless your heart.
Just bless your heart. I That's what I love. That's what I kind of love about like these southern stories too, because you have all these fun little colloquialisms and like you don't necessarily have to go out there to know what they are either, but it's just fun. I don't know. Like my dad's family is all from Kentucky, so it's like similar in nature. Just the witty banter, if you will, and like
Mhm.
you can just see like two old ladies on a porch just yapping at each other over something.
Yeah. It is funny too, because like, yeah, when they meet, like when we have the first body, like the way that they're talking about her, they're like, "Oh, she was always talking at the beauty salon, that Darlene,
That Darlene just
I was like,
yapping
"I love it." It's
away.
so fun as an audiobook. Agatha, who's part of the Texas Horror Crew, recommended. She's
Yes.
like, "If you read it, you gotta do the audiobook. It's
I
fun." And
I
I
trust her
and
recommendations
that
so much.
and it's a good recommendation. I'm passing it along. I did do the audiobook and it was very fun.
Also, talk about Texas lore. That is like the Texas historian in my life. If I have questions, I will go to Agatha because
Oh
I
yeah.
know she will know
Believe
it.
believe me, there was text to her to prepare for this episode.
Oh, that's exciting. I love that. Well, I guess that'll lead me into my next pick. Not vampire related, but generational trauma, if you will. The Haunting of Alejandra by V.
Yeah.
Castro, which I loved that book. I gifted my copy to a friend who was trying to get into horror, and I was like, let's. Oh, we didn't do the range for the other books. We'll come back to that.
We'll
Sorry.
come back to that.
um, but the gorgeous cover to start with. It's just the florals and just the creepiness of like death and whatnot. But for readers who don't know, it's a contemporary telling of a woman who is being haunted by the curse of La Llorona, and um, it follows a woman who is in an unhappy marriage, and she is seeing apparitions in her home, and it's all it follows her journey into understanding like who she is and where she comes from with her family, and working with somebody to help rid her of this curse. And I guess what I really loved about this, this is like Texas horror in the sense like it is regional folklore. It kind of shows like this borderland aesthetic of Texas and the mythology that happens in Texas, because of its history as being a part of Mexico at one point in time. I just really love like this reclamation of self that comes through. It's kind of gothic in that respect as well. It's just reclaiming that part of her, and like you can't push out the secrets will come out from
Yeah.
the past will not stay dead, if you will. I love that it takes place in San Antonio in particular as well, and it was fun reading that book and recognizing some of the places that are mentioned.
Yeah. Well, speaking of V. Castro, I also have a V. Castro book. It is
Yeah,
Goddess of Filth.
I love that book.
It's so good. It's kind of like The Craft meets Jennifer's Body
Yes, it's like
in a
told through like this
way.
like a punk Chicana lens. It's told through. It's so good.
Yeah. Yes, you're following a group of girls who are graduating from high school and they're just having some fun shenanigans. I believe it's also set in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Um, and they're doing a little seance, and as is known to
As
happen,
as is known to happen at a
one of the friends
sleepover.
gets possessed by like an Aztec spirit,
Oops.
and it's kind of like the timid good girl of the group, which is like what's weird because she begins acting really out of character, but in a way that as the reader you're kind of like rooting for her because she really starts going after like terrible men and evil
Absolutely.
religious figures, and you're like, you know what, girl, who am I to stop you?
Yeah, and
You let that you let that Aztec goddess or whatever do its thing.
hell
Okay.
yeah, let it reside in your body with you. Like you've got the
let
power.
it let it be a vessel for
Let
generational female rage.
hell to the yeah. We love it when an evil man gets what he deserves. I love that, and that's like I love that because there's that horror of identity as well
Hmm.
through there, and there's resilience, there's resistance, which is a very cool aspect. And there's some real scary scenes. I'm gonna put that as a freezer book as well because
Yeah.
the possession scenes in particular are just like it's kind of like it gives Reagan run for her money in The
Yeah.
Exorcist. Like, oh, you thought Reagan was bad? Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. From what I remember, it's been a long time since I read it, but I remember just like I devoured this book.
Yeah,
I also have some like honorable mentions I wanted to squeeze
yes, squeeze
in.
them in.
I read Shit Show by Chris Panettiere.
I want to read that. I
It's
what a crazy concept. I mean, I love
it
it.
is
Like that's crazy, but I love it.
I love the idea of like porta potty. Portal potty?
Portal? I can't.
It is about a porta potty that is also a portal to like a dark carnival evil world. Um, and you are following a man who is a latrine technician, and he has
Him.
this knowledge, and he can stop this. And it's gotten to his
Yeah.
mom, who suffers from dementia, or is it
Oh,
Alzheimer's? And it's for being a book that I thought going into it, I was kind of bracing myself for a lot of
mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, potty humor. It
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of heart. And like, again, some more aside fun facts about like, did you know about this soda company in
Did you know about
Texas?
this soda company in Texas? I'm curious to know. I was like, sounds hot and humid again, claustrophobic spaces. I have to read that because I love the artwork that he does, and
Hmm.
what an interesting concept for a setting, and just that like I you brought up the weird fact. It's just Texas culture, man. There's so many random things about Texas that you can like put into a thing. Like I learned about like Texas mums. like that's a thing, and it's not like the flower for fall. It's like a giant like ribbon that you put on. Like homecoming's coming up, put a mum on you, and you just like look like a giant like blue ribbon from the county state fair. So like I have to know what like the soda company is now.
And also, unless you were going to talk about it, I feel like we got to mention I Was a Teenage Slasher.
Yeah, so I started that book, so I have not finished it. So I
Okay.
want you to take the lead on this one for me.
Oh, it's so fun. Essentially, you are reading a slasher story, but from the perspective of someone becoming the
The
slasher villain.
slasher. Mm-hmm.
And Stephen Graham Jones makes you have empathy for this,
Yeah.
slasher villain. I was talking to like Agatha about this because I'm like, do you guys really put peanuts in your Coke? And she's like, oh, yeah, that's
It's
a thing. I'm like, because that's a plot point in here. But yeah, it's like a guy in high school who
mm-hmm.
just becomes a slasher. I don't want to say too much. It's
every,
just you got to read it. It's a great
yeah.
audiobook. It's immersive, set in Texas. And I think like when Stephen Graham Jones was doing kind of like the press tour for this, I think Saga was asking him all the Texas stuff like Whataburger or In and Out
Mm-hmm.
or like do you like this or that. So it was fun. Like him really leaning into his like time in Texas,
Yeah,
his opinions.
I have to listen to more of that. I'll pick up the audiobook because I love listening to audiobooks. I don't have a lot of time to listen to them, but when I hear a good audiobook come around the corner, I'm very intrigued because I love stories that are more immersive because of the audiobooks.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that makes me want to recommend a Texas Natives book here, Stargazers by LP Hernandez. If you haven't read, have you read it?
No, I haven't.
It's a great short little, it's a cosmic horror novella more than, but it has zombie narrative to it where it's the main character is he's a veteran, and it's takes place in San Antonio, Texas. Of course, his wife works at the military hospital up the road, kind of deal. And there's a strange phenomenon of people who are just off in themselves, if you will, and like they,
Oh.
you look at the sky and something happens, kind of deal. Almost like a don't look up scenario. But what happens is like the main character's wife unfortunately falls prey to this phenomenon, and so it's him and his daughter having to escape San Antonio and escape this virus, this phenomenon. Like no one knows what it is, where it's come from, but there's something happening here. And so I don't want to give too much away because it's a short novella. It's you read it in a sitting. I highly recommend that because it also just shows like how very small Texas can make you feel. Just being out in the middle of nowhere, like again, like that Texas Hill Country stuff, if you will. But also just LP's work in general. That's another author I think that needs to get some more love in this industry because he is, especially like quiet horror. Like
Mhm.
LP's work is phenomenal.
Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
will have to check it out. It has been recommended before.
I love that one. I was also trying to think of like other Texas books or even just regional horror books as well.
Oh yeah, I also had like Maggots Screaming by
That one's
Max.
that's fun. That's crazy. Have you
Yeah,
read
which
that?
is I have read it, and that's also like fun fact, there is a Texas body farm.
There is a Texas Potty Farm. I just love the premise of that book.
Yeah.
Like it just like the garden itself, and it just again, I love how like Bex brings in the heat because like it's literally an element like, oh god, it's hot and sweaty outside. I have to deal with this. Like, I don't want to give too
Ugh.
much away for the readers.
Yeah, lot decomposition heavy, but
Do,
it's a fun one.
I just thought of the book that we didn't bring up. The Devil Takes You Home by
Oh
Gabino
yeah.
Iglesias. If you
Yeah.
haven't, I was gonna say, have you read that one?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a road trip. Uh,
You know what? And it's so fun. They're stopping for snacks and having shenanigans the whole way there.
I
It's a
was like,
blast.
like,
No, it's not.
there's power tool. Is it a power tool or is it like a wrench? There's tools involved. That's a great one. That's a horror with heart, truly, especially because that beginning is so sad, where you have like the main
The
characters.
beginning is sad. The
I,
ending is sad. I'm like,
it's all
no, what is
sad. It's so
sad?
sad.
If you're not sad, you're horrified.
Yeah, yeah, that too. If you're not sad, you're horrified. But that's another great one that we have to bring up.
Hmm.
Goodness, there's so many, and I feel like that's like just Texas horror is like one of those like untouched things that, or people like you didn't realize you were in it until you're like, oh, well, just kidding. I am in it. I've read all this stuff and I've seen all
Yeah.
these movies and like this is totally a thing.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure we missed a lot of movies. So, listeners,
Mm.
if you want to
Chime
jump in with
in.
one,
Movies,
please do.
books. Oh yeah, the comic scene in Texas is big too, as well.
Interesting.
Another one. When the Devil by Emma E. Murray. Have you read that?
I've read stuff by her. I haven't read this one, though.
It's a short little, I want to say it's a novelette. It came out a couple
Oh.
years ago from Shortwave Publishing, but it is like a sapphic revenge horror
Ooh,
that takes
okay.
place in Texas in like this small rural community that is like heavy religious undertones of, um, and she is the survivor of abuse, or like her grandfather and her father are abusers, and then like this random person, like this, or shouldn't random, like this mysterious woman comes in. Her name is June, and she like just say she takes care of the main character's problems without asking. I There's like this very cool element of reclamation of agency and just female rage, and it again, like you'll read it in one sitting. Highly recommend it. Was the first thing I read by Emma Murray, and I was like, done, I'm a fan. Like
I love it. Okay. I will have to check it out. Now that you say it, I can picture the cover in my mind. I'm like, oh no, I've seen this.
yeah, it's great. It's a great little read.
Well, a tradition we have on the show is to ask our guests for a chilling obsession. That is something you've been enjoying in horror lately.
Yes, I'm so excited about this question. So, if you don't know me from before this episode, so I came into the horror genre writing poetry, horror poetry specifically, and my first collection was about a mad housewife. It's called Lady of the House. So, I'm gonna bring up trad wife horror. Like do 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 do. Like, have you read any trad wife horrors recently?
I read The Stepford Wives earlier this year.
Oh, how was that?
I loved it. It was like I started off my year with like a 5-star read and it felt great. I know,
It's
but it is having a moment right now and
it's
one
having
that
a
I will
moment.
possibly explore later in the year because
Oh, oh, hum,
there's
oh,
been a
hum.
lot. And
I
it's the thing people are talking about with
and there, yeah.
yesteryear, I think in other genres, but like our genre is having
I think
its moment.
horror is leading the way on it, and I love it, and I love
Mhm.
that they're doing that, and I think that kind of like the feminine slasher is having its moment this year. I think it's all in response to what's going on around, just not in our country, not just in our country, but around the world as well too. Just women's rights being stripped away, and then you have this sect of people who are trying to push back on these ultra traditionalist values that are like based in religious extremism and this idea of I'm gonna say this false idea of like what the nuclear family is supposed to be, and you have these women who are interestingly enough like profiting off of it and profiting off of I guess their own downfall in their roles in society, of course. But yeah, I'm very interested in tradwife horror right now. I have a very large stack of books that I am going to be reading between now and June for reasons, and um, I don't know. I'm so curious about what's drawing people to read tradwife horror as well. I'm
I've
just so
noticed that
curious.
this like modern iteration has really latched onto the
Like the
tradwife
influencer.
influencer
Mm-hmm.
area, that it is this like weird oxymoronic entrepreneurial
Yes.
angle, this like cognitive dissonance that like I am a woman running a small business and producing videos and putting all this work that is telling people not to work and to just focus on the joys of being at home. I'm like, which obviously doesn't fulfill you or you wouldn't feel the need to do
Yeah,
this.
I've been thinking a lot about like even just in like pop culture too, like how that ties with like the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which my friends are making me get into. And if they listen to this episode, they're gonna know I didn't get past episode 4. I'm trying, everybody. I'm trying. But also, I wonder if it just is if this is a long-standing thing that has just been coming to a head, where like we see this in pop culture and like the Real Housewives shows, for example. These are women who are like stay-at-home spouses or but have this like entrepreneurial nature about them. But the difference I guess there is they don't have like that extremist element of like religion and politics being at play there perhaps. But yeah, I'm very interested in that. I have Saratoga's Shaver's Tradwife, their language Tradwife on my shelf to read.
I just got Sarah Langens in the mail like
I
yesterday. I
I
was
got
like,
a I got approved on Neck Valley. I love that cover.
Oh,
Like
it's so good.
it
I love
remind
getting listen, the joy of a NetGalley approval email.
doesn't
Like,
it? It feels so
they
validating.
chose me. They
You're like
chose
yes, like I am worthy.
listen, and when they deny me, I have my pearl. I'm a star,
I'm
please.
a
I'm a
star,
star.
please. I'm a star. But yeah, I'm so
This author has
interested.
been on my show before. Let me read their book.
Please, let me help you.
It's yeah, it's interesting. I have never really fallen into, well, probably because of my upbringing. I have
Hmm.
not been compelled by like trad wife content. Like I
Hmm.
never followed Ballerina Farms. I was never
Yeah,
into like the other Mormon girl who like makes everything from scratch. Like
I
I
know.
just I
Yeah, I
don't
know who you're
find
talking
this
about.
content compelling.
And
Like
that's the thing about these trad wife influencers is that like ho hum, they are actually wealthy people themselves, like
yeah,
cosplaying as like these little
Ballerina Farms like into the
like
jet blue
yeah,
fortune. Get out of
like
here.
as like these like pretending that they're these little farmhouse wives, and I'm like, do you know how like hardy a woman on a farm is? Like, I don't see calluses on your hands. Get back, like what? Like, get out of here. But yeah, I think about how like, and I don't know if it's just the aesthetic that people are interested in, like all of these like neutral colors that are coming back into fashion and style, and like I see that with the tri wife aesthetic too. There's like all these plain neutrals and like like just subdue yourself and make like harvest your water from the air and like just things like that. I don't know if it's people who are clinging on to this false sense of security and idealism that really was never there to begin with in our history's culture or our culture's history. Mom brain, everybody. I I think a lot about like that ideal and just people chasing this nuclear dream. I think it's weird. It's like when you're like looking at it, especially through like the lens of social media, which is so devious in nature. Like it's like you have to think about who does this narrative serve right now?
Mhm.
Who does it benefit? And I don't know if people are thinking that enough. I don't know. So that is my I guess that is my obsession right now because I want to know why because
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious and I like to know people's perspectives on this issue in particular. Now at a time when women are really having to fight for their rights, um, I especially am concerned with women's role in the workforce. Fun fact, everyone, I used to work for labor unions, and a crazy fact is that over the course of the last 6 years or so, in the United States, like over 5 million women have left the traditional workforce. Who initially in that big wave in like 2020, 2021, they left to go take care of like traditional caretaking responsibilities, like because childcare, like you couldn't send your kids to freaking daycare during that time and whatnot. And then
Mhm.
only like 2 million have returned to the traditional workforce. So we're seeing less women in the workforce now, and then while simultaneously we have this push for traditional gender roles in our country again. It's just all going to come to a head. So I'm interested in how trad wife horror explores that in
Yeah. I mean, I
particular.
think it's definitely a response to the leaps and bounds that women have made in surpassing men in college attendance. And
Mm-hmm.
there are more single female homeowners now than single
Mm-hmm.
male homeowners.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a great schism in the dating pool and people pairing off, and a lot of women choosing to be alone over pairing up with a partner who like isn't bringing much. Like there's a lot. This is layers. This is a big
I know.
conversation.
I know it is a big conversation. Look at us. We're solving problems, Stephanie.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, we should talk about that in another episode one day. Like layers, let's do it. Bring out the binder.
I was steeped in this. Like I have a lot of thoughts.
Gosh, well, I'm sorry that you went through that. And I'm glad that you have made your way through it. I haven't had those experiences myself, but I've had friends who have, like in particular, she's a poet who writes dark poetry, Shannon Steffen, and she has got a whole deconstructionist collection called Her Exodus, which is phenomenal. Highly recommend. Also grew up in a cult-like setting with an evangelical church in Florida, and then lesser known, Raven White, who's also a horror poet, grew up in like some kind of like a cult in Ohio, almost like Mennonite style, and
Mm,
just reading their testimony on what they went through. So I guess that makes me think a lot about like, this trad wife movement, and I don't know, just this veneer that people put up and the dangers of that. And then we got, I think, for some levity here, there was other responses, the feminine slasher. It's like, it's good for her. Like, we are at a interesting point in history right now of like what's going to happen next.
yeah.
Are we going to subject ourselves to the horrors? Are we going to pick up the axe and take back? I don't know. I'm not inciting violence, I swear. But
Well, I was listening to a podcast today, and it was one of the like culture editors at like maybe it was like the New Yorker or the New York Times.
mhm.
But I downloaded it because of the episode title, and it was like our love of earnestness in media coming back with like Project Hail Mary
Yeah,
and The Pit.
I still need to see
Um,
the pit. I've heard such good things about it.
oh, you gotta watch it. But kind of this turn that like we're sick of this bleakness, and maybe we're
Yeah.
okay with getting into that millennial optimism that everyone
hmm
was making fun of us for.
Oh my gosh,
And
I
like
think I might have
the
seen
I
this article.
yeah,
Give into
being
the cringe. Give into
given
the
to the cringe.
cringe.
Like Lena Dunham has another memoir out, okay? Our cringe queen.
Our cringe queen. Let us wear our skinny jeans. Get over it. They're actually great. Like, we all remember our first pair that we suffocated in.
Yeah. I have bought into the wide leg barrel jean
I
propaganda,
can't
but
find wide leg jeans that I like. I have them,
yeah,
but I haven't found one that's just like
that speaks to you.
that speaks to me. It speaks to me. Speaking of jeans, like this is such a random thing I'm sharing. My random thing I'm sharing. I know. I'm sorry if I have things to do today. I'm just sharing this
You're
little thing. My fellow author Bridget Brave and I, we were talking about like a sisterhood of the traveling jean jacket, where
oh yeah.
we all like send a copy of our book to each other and like a little patch that we all like iron on. We just keep sending it to other people in horror. That's a thing that
Obsessed with this.
I'm trying to manifest it. Bridget, listen to this. It's happening. We're gonna make it happen. If you want in, someone tell us. So we actually go buy this
Yeah.
jean jacket. But um, yeah, I want to be a wide leg jean girl. Like, I'm wearing wide leg jeans. They're not my favorite, but I'm wearing them. You know what they go well with? A pair of boots.
They do. They do look good. Like with the juxtaposition of like the wide leg with like a pointy heel is like yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, like just like the little kitten heel.
Hmm.
100%. I'm not even a fashion person, but I'm just like, yes, I'm trying to lean into it. Yeah, you're gonna be at StokerCon this year, right?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to?
It's my one time a year to see all my internet friends. I only get to see them like on social media on the other side of a screen. So it's like, you're all here, you're real, you're
You're
corporeal.
real. You're
You're
corporeal.
corporeal.
You're corporeal. And it's in Pittsburgh. I've never been to Pittsburgh. I'm so excited. I'm so
That'll be
excited.
fun. You got to watch The Pit before you come.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down.
It's
Oh
not
my
that
gosh,
it's
I
like,
get it because the pit is in Pittsburgh. Is that right? I have no idea. Just
yes,
kidding.
that is. It's, yeah, because they
I
spell it with like two T's.
I mentioned the show to my husband the other night. I was like, "Hey, everyone's watching this show, and I think that we should watch together because we don't have a whole lot of shared interests when it comes to like music and film and TV." And as soon as this is for um the the Parks and Rec fans here, I said like, "We gotta watch the pit." My husband's like, "I fell in the pit." Like, have you seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like I do want to watch that though.
Yeah.
There's so many good shows on right
I
now.
know there are.
I finished one called like a mini series called Sanctuary. I think there's a season 2, but it's like it imagines a world where witches are out, but there's like witch law in like the United Kingdom, of course, and it's like a crime thriller witch mystery show. It's very good. Highly recommend it.
Oh, I was not familiar with that.
hmm
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on. We have to give in to the whimsy to
Yeah,
survive.
that's kind of where I'm at. Like, screw neutral colors. I'm here to whimsy max. Okay.
Hell to the yeah. I started my year off rewatching the whole Twilight saga because just to feel
Just to
something.
feel something.
I made my husband watch them too because he never watched them. I was like, all right, this is the lore. Are you ready?
Listen, I remember where I was when I was reading New Moon. Okay. Teenage girl on a family vacation.
Oh my gosh, the angst.
And when it's those pages where it's just months, the months that she is waiting for Edward, I'm like, I feel this in my soul.
Okay, so have you listened to the singer, is it Julia Wolf, I think is her name?
Mm-hmm.
That song In My Room is
Yeah.
inspired by that.
I didn't know that. I have that on my
So
playlist. I
when you
listen to that
listen
all the
so
time.
so when you listen to it, you think about those times when Edward was like, "I'm out,
I
Bella. What's
want your
up?"
things in my room. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because like I think that's what he does, right? Like he takes all his things in her room um and then like she does like radical stuff to like try to get hit by cars and whatnot and kidnapped and like just hoping that he's got like just willing images of him in her mind. Like toxic.
We love it.
We love it. I'm sorry that this episode's gotten into a Twilight rant here.
Oh, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone everywhere. And the best ones, Joe.
Oh my goodness.
Uh, well, to cap it off, we can end with our second tradition we have on the podcast, which is to ask our guests for a final girl song.
I'm so excited about this one. So I went through your playlist to make sure that I didn't put a double on there because originally I was going to say Invincible by Pat Benatar because what like that song is amazing. But I'm actually going to do more of a country theme to stay in line here as Cadillac by Kitty Cohen, which if you've never listened to Kitty Cohen, it's kind of like I'm going to call her like outlaw neon cowgirl music.
Okay.
And it's very like okay, you imagine you're at the bar, it's smoky, and you're leaning over the pool table and everything's lit in red neon and there's this air of mystery and it's sexy and creepy and this whole song is about this her getting out of Dodge and surviving. And like I'm gonna go with Cadillac by Kitty
Ooh,
Cohen. Mm-hmm.
that sounds really good. Okay, I will be putting that on the playlist.
Yay.
All right, well, Grace, thank you so much for coming on here
Yeah,
today
this was so
and
much fun.
talking to me about Texas horror and a lot of other
And
things.
a lot of other things. This was so much fun. Thank you.
It
Thank you.
was fun. Books in the Freezer is a bi-weekly podcast. We post episodes every other Tuesday. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Books in the Freezer, or send us an email at booksinthefreezer@gmail.com. A list of the movies and books mentioned will be in the episode description, and the books will have affiliate links to bookshop.org, where, if you choose to purchase, you will be supporting this podcast and an independent bookstore. So, win-win, really. And if you are looking for another way to support the podcast, you can always become a member of our Patreon community at patreon.com/booksinthefreezer, where you can listen to episodes a few days early before they drop on the main feed. And you can have access to the newsletter, to polls, to a chat, and to a whole bonus series, The House at the End of Fear Street, where I am making my way through R.L. Stein's Fear Street series. All of that, again, is at patreon.com/booksinthefreezer. I have been your host, Stephanie Gania. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time on Books in the Freezer.